Hey everyone, I hope you're all good. First off, I'm sorry if this review isn't very good. It's way too early in the morning, I've had literally no sleep, so I am exhausted, but I thought I'd get this done while I've got the chance. Someone requested that I review this book. It's A Note of Madness by Tabitha Suzuma, and it's a really good book. I really enjoyed it. I haven't got it to show you because I lent it to my friend. It was that good. My friend tends to borrow every good book that I read, so I never actually have them to show, which is not good. Either that or I read them on my Kindle. But yeah, it's a really good book that I really enjoyed it. It's about a guy named Flynn, and he's a really talented pianist, and he goes to the Royal College of Music, and he has bipolar disorder. That's a fact, that's no secret, but the novel is about him, developing the symptoms of bipolar, and you're kind of going through the story with him as, all these, I suppose his personality, it's not his personality, but, as his mood swings get worse and as his moods change, you're basically following him through the story between these symptoms coming on and him getting diagnosed, and just having a look at what effect the disorder has in his life, and on when he's in such a high pressure environment as the Royal College of Music as well, how it affects his life. Like I said, it's a really good book, really well written. I thought it handled the topic really well. I do know some things about bipolar disorder. I haven't had personal experience with it, but I know people who have, and from what I know, it was very accurate. But then that's to be expected. The author is, every topic she writes, well, I've only read 2 of her books, but she does handle the topics she writes about so well. She does it properly. The characters were great. I loved Flynn. You could really sympathise with him. And what I was going through, it was really lovable. I may have fell slightly in love with him. I fell slightly in love with the character in the last book that I reviewed as well. She really attached to these characters. But yeah, I may have been slightly in love with Flynn. There was his friends Harry and Jenna, who were great. I really enjoyed them. But my favourite character was probably Rami, his brother. I just loved his character. I wish he was in it more. You could see how much he really cared about Flynn, and I don't know, there was something about his personality that I just really liked. I was going to say something, it's completely gone. Like I said, it handled the bipolar side of it really well. It was really refreshing to see in a young adult novel. There are books that deal with mental illness in the young adult genre, but not quite in such a realistic and proper way as this one does. I think they tend to be a bit over dramatic sometimes and angsty, rather than like really tackling the issue. And this one really didn't. It was really good to see it was from a guy's perspective as well, because I think in real life as well, guys tend to be they tend to keep these things to themselves more. You won't hear guys talking about mental illness and facing up to it very often. And Flynn doesn't face up to it really himself. Obviously, he when these things start happening to him, he's in turmoil. He really struggles to face what's happening to him. And at first he doesn't really. But it was really, really well handled, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very true to life, and I think you can learn a lot from it. I would recommend it for everyone, from probably 14 and up, maybe a little bit older. No, I'd say 14 is an okay age, all the way up to adults, boys and girls. It's one of those books I think really you need to read, because it's a topic that's not talked about often enough, like I said, and this is the best book I've seen that handles it in YA, so definitely pick it up. It's not, if you saw my other review for Forbidden, it's not as an intense read as Forbidden, definitely not, and you can see how the writer has grown between this and Forbidden. I believe Note of Madness was her first novel, and Forbidden is the most recent one. And, you know, she's definitely grown as an author, but this is still an amazing, amazing book. And for a debut, it's brilliant. The writing style is great. You know, I wanted to read on. And I am really, really excited to read the sequel, which I have. It's here, actually. That's it. It's called A Voice in the Distance. It's the second one. It's pretty thin, which I actually find quite upsetting, because, you know, I'm really attached to the characters and I don't really want to, you know, say bye to them. I've flicked through it because, yes, I'm that sort of person. And I don't know if I can handle it emotionally right now. You know, it seems heavier than the first one, and, you know, the first one wasn't exactly easy reading, but I'm really, really, really excited to read it. I wish there was more than just the two, because I love the characters and I love the story. I love books that deal with mental illness in general, and this is just like, you know, easily the best I've read. I'm so tired, I can't think what I'm saying. But yeah, definitely, it's a great novel. I'm so glad that you know, someone, you know, wrote about this topic, because mental illness is far too much of, you know, there's far too much, you know, I suppose, I don't want to say like embarrassment, but, you know, I suppose stigma towards mental illness, and it's really nice to see someone handle that, and to have a character like Flynn as well, because Flynn is such a talented pianist, you know, and he's a high achiever, and he's doing so well, and, you know, it just happens, you know. You know, one of the characters in the book says it's bad luck, it could have happened to any of us, and that's true, and mental illness does affect people like that. So if that to be dealt with in a book, and to show that it can happen to anyone, and at the same time that, you know, things will get worse before they get better, but, you know, things will get better. I just thought, you know, it was brilliant, and I really enjoyed it. And I've repeated myself over and over again, but like I said, definitely read it if you're thinking about it. I know the person who requested this said they were thinking about buying it. Buy it. It's a great book, especially if you like books dealing with mental health issues. And even if you don't, you know, the story is great on its own. It's really eye-opening, and the characters are fantastic. So definitely pick it up. If you've read Forbidden, you'll love this one. Like I said, it's not as heavy, and it deals with an entirely different subject matter. But, you know, again, Tabitha Suzuma handles it brilliantly. So definitely read it. It's a great book. And yeah, I'm going to stop gushing now. This is the second gushing review I've done for books. When I read A Voice in the Distance, I will definitely review that one too. I wish it was longer. I might start reading it today, after I've had some sleep. We'll see. So, yes, thank you for listening to another one of my rambling reviews. And I will see you next time. Bye.